Hello and welcome to the Money Marketing Podcast, and welcome to this special series of Weekend Essay podcasts. Join us as we delve into the personal narratives of our editorial team, exploring the intersection of life experiences and financial advice. From triumphs to setbacks, each episode offers a candid glimpse into the journeys that shape our perspectives on money management. Get ready to uncover the human side of finance as we share our stories, insights, and lessons learned along the way. Welcome to the Weekend Essays on the Money Marketing Podcast.
I love thinking of names for animals. When I was 10 years old, we got 2 grey cats. I decided we should call the male one Graham because he was grey. At the time, it seemed obvious. My mum named the female cat Shirley because she was such a Shirley. Somehow we all knew what she meant. Then there were the small pets we had as children. Brownie, Tiptoe and Blitz the guinea pigs, Ratty and Squeedle Squeak the hamsters, Flash the gerbil, and Tommy and Klaus the goldfish. I'm currently staying at my cousin's house in the Gloucestershire countryside. They have a horse called Elvis because he was born pale with a black mane which stood up at the front. That, and the fact he's the king, obviously. They also have 2 cats called Thunder and Spark, named by the 7 and 9-year-old children. And a Labrador named Harry. Not after Prince Harry as I first assumed, but after Harry Potter because he has a dark mark on his forehead shaped a bit like a lightning bolt, if you squint. If only naming funds were this simple and fun. I was at an investment briefing recently and it struck me how boring fund names are. The Investment Association lists around 4,500 funds available to UK investors, and they all have names like Aberdeen Sterling Bond Fund, Baillie Gifford European Fund, Scottish Widows Emerging Markets Fund, or Wisdom Tree Emerging Markets Equity Income UCITS ETF. I just picked those 4 at random, but you get the picture. All they do is say what the fund is. Wouldn't it be better if they were more interesting and memorable? In a sea of thousands, don't you want your fund to stand out? The first thing to note, and something I hadn't considered before, is that the name of a fund has to be given the green light by an authorised corporate director, or ACD. An ACD is responsible for the running of an investment fund and, according to the Investment Association, have a duty to act in the best interests of the fund's investors. Any fund name must also be cleared by the Financial Conduct Authority, which will decide whether it's undesirable or misleading. When researching for this weekend essay, I came across a white paper by non-profit organisation Open Funds. It pointed out that a fund name serves several purposes depending on the viewpoint of the observer. So, for investors and fund regulators, a fund name should reveal information about the investments contained within the fund and its investment objectives. From the fund provider's viewpoint, the name should attract attention to the fund while supporting its marketing goals. And finally, the fund name should serve the purpose of clear identification. So it should be sufficiently unique as to avoid confusion with funds offered by other providers and as also other funds offered by the same provider. I was chatting to James Sullivan, former fund manager and now head of partnerships at Tyndall Investment Management, about this. He told me that he once inherited a fund called Arcturus, named after the brightest star in the northern constellation of Bootes. Arcturus is the Latinized version of the ancient Greek Arcturus and means guardian of the bear. I think that's pretty clever and certainly unique, but Sullivan says that in the end it was just confusing. After all, it didn't actually say what was in the fund. He says when it was designed, initially before his arrival, everyone thought it was a clever name. Bear Watch, Bear Markets and all that. But everyone was like, what is this? What does it mean? Just call it the absolute return or the total return fund. And he says he learned a lesson from looking after this fund, in that you can come up with a nice snazzy name that means something to someone, but most of the time people just want to know what the fund does. He said he's gone full circle in his thoughts on it. As he thought snazzy names were a cool thing, then realised that most people don't want snazzy, they just want to know what they're buying. It does make them stand out, but it doesn't mean they're standing out for the right reasons, after all. And in 2012, Arcturus was named the CF Myton Total Return Fund, which I guess proves Sullivan's point. Another article I came across was one written in January by Hedge Fund Alpha, which is an institutional investor intelligence service based in New York. This article said a name can play a surprising role in influencing investor decisions. After all, a name is the first thing a potential investor will see, so it should be unique and make the fund stand out. However, Hedge Fund Alpha warned that a problem with overly creative names is the chance for misunderstanding. These names can be unclear or open to misinterpretation. To make a fund name unique, most fund providers choose to put their name at the front, for example, Barclays Global Core Fund or BlackRock Global Income. This may seem boring, but in writing this article, I think my mind has also been changed. If I were naming a fund, I might be tempted to call it the Super Fun Happy Ohio Riz Fund, but much as it pains me to admit it, if I did this, the fund would likely not do too well. Unlike naming animals, naming funds should be a sensible process. Let's leave the crazy names to cryptocurrencies. Still, I don't think it would hurt to throw in the odd unusual word just to keep investors on their toes.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of our weekend essay series. We do hope that you enjoyed it. Please do keep up to date with all our new releases via Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts from. You can also keep up to date with all our new content published on the Money Marketing website, as well as our print edition Money Marketing magazine, so make sure to subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. See you next time.